Welcome to Hockey Wiz Talks podcast. Today I'll be talking about why the Boston Bruins should consider rebuilding. The Boston Bruins have been a legit contender for the Stanley Cup since they put together the top line of Marchand, Patrice, and Bergeron. But I have reason to believe that they will indeed miss the playoffs next season. Brad Marchand and David Patrice are going to miss the beginning of next season, which is terrible news for the Bruins, because the top line of the Bruins accounted for almost half of the team's entire scoring last season. Secondly, the Bruins let Torrey Krug walk in free agency, and didn't sign anyone to replace him on defense. Although the Bruins did re-sign Matt Grzelcyk to a 4-year deal, he isn't exactly a difference maker on either side of the puck. With the core of the Bruins getting older, it would be smart for them to tear everything down and rebuild around Pastrnak and McAvoy. The Bruins start by trading away 3 key players: Patrice Bergeron, Brad Marchand, and David Krejci. Also, Tuukka Rask might retire at the end of next season after his contract is up, so it would be smart to trade him for something rather than lose him in retirement for nothing. And now a word from our sponsor. Check out my hockey blog at hockeywiztalkshockey.blogspot.com. Boston Bruins trade Patrice Bergeron to the Columbus Blue Jackets for Gustav Nyquist, Liam Foudy, Daniil Tarasov, and a first-round pick in 2021. The Blue Jackets get a first-line center that can help mentor Pierre-Luc Dubois, and he would instantly turn the Blue Jackets into a legit contender. On the flip side, the Bruins get Gustav Nyquist for salary cap reasons, Liam Foudy, their top prospect, Daniil Tarasov, a very good prospect goalie, and a first-round pick. Boston Bruins also trade Brad Marchand to the Detroit Red Wings for Filip Zadina, Tyler Bertuzzi, and a first-round pick in 2022. The Red Wings get Brad Marchand, a bona fide star player that can help restore glory back to Detroit. On the flip side, the Bruins get Filip Zadina, a very good young sniper, Tyler Bertuzzi, a solid top 6 forward, and a first-round pick. Tuukka Rask is traded to the Colorado Avalanche for Philip Grubauer, Shane Bowers, and a second-round pick in 2021. If the Avalanche win the Stanley Cup, the second-round pick becomes a first-round pick. The Avalanche get Tuukka Rask, an elite goaltender that might be in the twilight of his career, but can still be great with a good team in front of him. The Bruins get Philip Grubauer, a goalie that can fill the void as a starter for Tuukka Rask, Shane Bowers, and a second-round pick, which can become a first-round pick if Colorado wins the Stanley Cup. David Krejci is traded to the Florida Panthers for a second-round pick in 2021 and a second-round pick in 2022. The Florida Panthers get David Krejci, who would be a pending UFA in 2021, for 2 second-round picks. And now a word from our sponsor. Visit my Facebook page at Mr. HockeyWiz777 and my Instagram Mr. HockeyWiz77. With the changes made to the roster, the Boston Bruins missed the playoffs in the 2020-2021 season, but finished with the 12th pick in the draft. At the 2021 draft, the Boston Bruins trade picks 18 and 76 to the Vancouver Canucks for 22 and 54. The Bruins also trade picks 43 and 44 to the Vegas Golden Knights for picks 32 and a third-round pick in 2022. 2021 draft results. Boston Bruins draft Carson Lambos 12th overall, Brett Harrison 22nd overall, Cameron Wynot 31st overall, and Sebastian Costa 32nd overall. After the 2021 draft, the Boston Bruins trade Charlie Coyle, Brandon Carlo, Andre Casse, and a first-round pick in 2023 to the San Jose Sharks for Brent Burns. San Jose retains 25% of Brent Burns' contract. The Bruins get a top 4 defenseman in Brent Burns that brings stability and physicality on the blue line. The Sharks get a top 4 defenseman in Brandon Carlo, a big power forward in Charlie Coyle, Andre Casse, a top 9 forward, and a first-round pick. Boston Bruins re-sign Yaroslav Halak and Sean Kuraly to a 2-year deal. The Boston Bruins plummet in the standings and finish with the 3rd worst record in the league. They end up with the 4th pick in the draft. 2022 draft results. Boston Bruins draft Rucker McGroarty 4th overall and Frank Nazar 10th overall. After the 2022 draft, the Bruins make 2 major trades. The Boston Bruins trade Jake DeBrusk, Tyler Bertuzzi, and a first-round pick in 2024 to the Nashville Predators for Philip Forsberg in a sign-in trade. The Boston Bruins get Philip Forsberg, a star winger that fits in great with the Bruins, while the Predators get Jake DeBrusk and Tyler Bertuzzi, 2 top 6 wingers and a first-round pick. The Boston Bruins also trade Gustav Nyquist to the New Jersey Devils for Jesper Boquist, Miles Wood, and a second-round pick in 2023. The Devils get a veteran winger in Gustav Nyquist, while the Bruins get Jesper Boquist, a top 9 forward, and they will also get a second-round pick for taking on Miles Wood's contract. Boston Bruins re-signed Charlie McAvoy to an 8-year deal worth $6 million per season, as well as Liam Foudy and Filip Zadina to 2-year deals. Boston Bruins signed Rickard Rakell to a 4-year deal in free agency. The Boston Bruins finished the 2022-23 season with a much better record, but they still missed the playoffs. Their first round pick goes to the Nashville Predators, goes to the San Jose Sharks as part of the Brent Burns trade. After the 2023 season, the Boston Bruins trade Urho Vakanainen and a second-round pick in 2024 to the LA Kings for Gabriel Vilardi and Sean Walker. The LA Kings get Urho Vakanainen, a top 4 defenseman, and a second-round pick, while the Bruins get Gabriel Vilardi, a top 6 forward, and Sean Walker, a top 6 defenseman. Boston Bruins buy out Matt Grzelcyk because he's simply not worth his contract. Boston Bruins re-signed David Pastrnak to an 8-year deal and signed Brian Dumoulin to a 2-year deal in free agency. And now a word from our sponsor. Check out my other podcasts on soundcloud.com/MrHockeyWiz777. By the 2023-24 season, the Boston Bruins have put together a really good team. This is how their lineup looks like. The first line is Philip Forsberg, Brett Harrison, and David Pastrnak. The second line is Philip Zadina, Rocco McGroarty, and Ricard Raquel. The third line is Shane Bowers, Gabriel Vilardi, and Frank Nazar. The fourth line is Miles Wood, Liam Foudy, and Jesper Boqvist. The first D pair is Carson Lambos and Charlie McAvoy. Second D pair is Cameron Wynot and Brent Burns. Third D pair is Brian Dumoulin and Sean Walker. Goalies are Sebastian Cossa and Daniel Vlader. By starting a rebuild this offseason, the Boston Bruins could become a playoff team as quickly as the 2023-24 season, if they play their cards right. In my next podcast, I'll be talking about how the Seattle Kraken can become a dynasty.